Hello, welcome to your channel Wellbeing at My Age. It's a pleasure to have you here. Here we talk about health, longevity, and natural, simple habits that help you maintain your physical, mental, and emotional balance. In this video, I want to share something very special with you that can transform your daily well-being. Today on Wellbeing at My Age, you will discover how to reduce swelling in your legs and ankles at home effectively. So stay until the end and take notes so you can follow the step-by-step process at home. Let's begin. When legs and ankles swell, there are always two main causes. Either the body loses fluid where it shouldn't, or the circulation can't drain it properly. Sometimes both things happen at the same time. Compression socks, massages, and elevating the legs may provide temporary relief, but they don't solve the root of the problem. That's why today I want to show you, from my experience as a doctor, how to reduce swelling by addressing what really causes it. I am Dr. Gabriel Mina, and over the years I've seen many cases like this. I remember a patient named Marta, a 62-year-old woman who told me she could no longer wear her favorite shoes because, by the end of the afternoon, her feet looked twice their size. She thought it was just water retention from age, but we discovered deeper causes, and once we addressed them, the swelling disappeared completely. To understand what's happening, imagine the body as three major compartments. First are the cells, where most internal processes occur: energy production, enzymes, proteins. Then we have the bloodstream, which transports nutrients throughout the body. And finally, a third space, which is the fluid between the cells and outside the blood vessels, known as extracellular or interstitial fluid. It's normal to have some fluid there. In fact, about 1/3 of your body's water is stored in that area. The problem begins when more fluid accumulates than it should. The system responsible for collecting that excess is the lymphatic system, which acts like a natural drainage system returning fluids to the bloodstream so the liver and kidneys can do their job. Inside the cells, we also have a small pump called the sodium-potassium ATPase. It sounds technical, but it simply keeps sodium outside and potassium inside. When potassium is too low, the cells can't hold their fluid properly and part of that water moves to the extracellular space, contributing to swelling. On the other hand, there's the lymphatic pump, which depends on movement, breathing, and pressure changes to push fluid back into circulation. When this pump struggles, the fluid gets stuck in the legs, especially at the end of the day. Swelling is not just a cosmetic issue. When it appears, it's almost always a sign of a metabolic imbalance: inflammation, insulin resistance, poor circulation, and even a higher risk of diabetes, hypertension, or cardiovascular problems. It may also indicate the early stages of varicose veins, which can progress into dangerous clots. And when fluids don't move, toxins don't move either, increasing the risk of ulcers and slow-healing wounds. Before continuing with the key mechanisms to drain this fluid, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and activate the bell. Here on Wellbeing at My Age, we share practical content every day to help you improve your health in simple ways. Your support makes it possible for this information to reach more people who need it. Not long ago, I watched a video claiming that the sodium-potassium pump was the main cause of ankle swelling. But in real practice, when I see my patients, the truth is that the most common cause, almost 90%, is a failure in the lymphatic pump, which is the one responsible for returning fluid to circulation. The sodium-potassium pump is essential for life and internal balance, but in this specific problem, the key is how we drain excess fluid, not that cellular pump. Fluid accumulates mostly in the feet because gravity pulls it downward. The body's challenge is to push it back up against that force, and when the lymphatic pump doesn't work properly, swelling appears. Most leaks have a metabolic root. One of the most common is glycation, a process that occurs when blood sugar stays high. You may have heard of A1C, which measures how much sugar sticks to proteins over about 3 months. When it's high, it indicates persistent high blood sugar, stiffening the blood vessels and making them leak more easily. Also, when sugar is constantly elevated, insulin stays elevated as well, creating insulin resistance. That causes inflammation, tissue damage, and even more fluid leakage. And insulin has another effect. It signals the kidneys to retain sodium. Since water follows sodium, the body retains more fluid inside the vessels, increasing pressure and pushing more water into the extracellular space. It's a double hit that promotes swelling. If this is combined with deficiencies of potassium, magnesium, or B-complex vitamins, especially B1, the sodium-potassium pump weakens and leaks even more. Low albumin levels can also contribute. Albumin is the main protein in the blood and acts like a sponge that holds water. If albumin is low, fluid escapes more easily, often due to poor quality protein intake, poor digestion, or liver issues. I remember Carlos, a 58-year-old patient who came worried because his ankles were swelling every afternoon. When we reviewed his diet and lab work, we discovered he had insulin resistance, low B1, and a diet full of processed oils. Just correcting those habits noticeably reduced his swelling. That's why, when we talk about reducing swelling from the root, the first step is addressing insulin resistance. This is done by reducing sugar and processed carbohydrates, which elevate insulin the most. It's also essential to avoid ultra-processed vegetable oils, soy, corn, canola, sunflower, because they cause inflammation and oxidative stress. Another key point is meal frequency. The body doesn't need constant eating. In fact, eating too often keeps insulin elevated. When we space meals apart, metabolism works more naturally and the body avoids constant insulin spikes. After treating many patients, I've found that eating 2 or 3 times a day within a 6 to 8 hour window is highly effective for lowering insulin and restoring metabolic flexibility. You don't need to eat immediately after waking nor very late at night. Consistency is what matters. Add potassium-rich foods, avocado, vegetables, legumes, yogurt, fish, and unprocessed meats. Interestingly, the foods that help stabilize blood sugar also provide potassium. Magnesium is equally essential. Deficiency is common due to modern processed food. I often recommend pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, black beans, and yogurt. A serving of yogurt with ground chia seeds and pumpkin seeds can cover up to 80% of daily needs. High-quality protein is also essential. Without enough protein, your body can't produce albumin or perform hundreds of vital functions. Still, many people don't absorb nutrients well due to poor diet or nutrient-depleted foods. In those cases, supplementing with potassium, magnesium, electrolytes, B-complex vitamins, or digestive enzymes can make a big difference. This helps correct metabolic issues from the root and reduce excessive fluid loss. But even with good internal chemistry, if the muscular pump isn't working, fluid will continue accumulating in the legs and ankles. The most important is the calf muscle pump, known as the second heart, because its valves push fluid upward and prevent it from flowing back down. Sedentary lifestyles weaken those valves and make them leak. The lymphatic pump is also essential, and its main motor is the diaphragm. Deep breathing activates it, as the diaphragm gently compresses the abdominal organs and helps lymph fluid move upward. The problem is that most people breathe shallowly. To activate the system, begin with heel raises. They are simple and powerful. Standing, lift your heels as many times as you can. If sitting, move your ankles up and down 20 to 30 times, several times a day. At home, lie down with your legs up against the wall and repeat ankle movements. Walking for 5 or 10 minutes several times a day also adds hundreds of repetitions that improve venous return. Add deep diaphragmatic breathing. Place your hand on your abdomen. Inhale slowly for 4 or 5 seconds, letting your belly expand, and exhale just as slowly. This breathing activates the lymphatic system and stimulates the vagus nerve, supporting the body's recovery. As for common practices, compression socks, leg elevation, massages, they work, but only temporarily. They help move fluid but don't fix the root cause. That's why I recommend combining them with pumping exercises for real progress. The fastest and most effective way to reduce ankle swelling is this: heel raises, legs against the wall, ankle movements, and deep breathing. With repetition, you don't just move fluid, you retrain your valves, strengthen muscles, and improve elasticity. And if you also correct the metabolic leak, insulin resistance, mineral deficiencies, poor digestion, the problem stops recurring. Not long ago, I treated a patient named Marta, 62 years old. Her ankles were so swollen that walking was difficult. She had used compression socks for years without improvement. When she started practicing these exercises and adjusted her diet, within 3 weeks the swelling had almost completely disappeared. Her family was surprised, and now everyone practices the same habits. I mention this because you might know someone experiencing the same issue, and this video could help them. If this information has helped you, I invite you to subscribe, activate the notification bell, leave a comment, and share this video with someone who may need it. Here on this channel, Wellbeing at My Age, we upload new content every day to help you improve your health with practical and natural tools. Before you go, I want to invite you to something special. Give thanks to God for life, for the opportunity to learn, and for the ability to care for your body. That gesture changes the way we live and the way we heal. Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow we will have a new video that continues this path toward better health. I'll be waiting for you, because here we value your well-being and want to keep growing with you.